Hi guys, Cindy Lyon from Greetings and Memories. Here today to record the visual instructions to go along with the PDF instructions for the Sweet Strawberry card class. Obviously we are using the Sweet Strawberry stamp set. The three ink colors we're using are Garden Green, Poppy Parade, and Pacific Point. We also have one of the cards that we'll use Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I do understand that at the time I'm recording this, that ink is on back order. So if you happen to have Stays on Black, you can substitute that. If you don't have any black ink on hand at all, I will show you how you can adapt that design to not use the black ink. We have our D and B size clear acrylic blocks. The Stampin' Dimensionals would be included in your supply kit. And then we have Stampin' Seal, scissors, and the bone folder. And of course, hiding in the corner here, my Stampin' Chamois for cleaning my stamps. So you would have received 4 packets of supplies, and I decided I will go ahead and do the cards in the order that they're shown in the group header. So we're going to start with this card that says, "That was so sweet of you," using the Pacific Point cardstock. And then we will add the stamped strawberry. And the patterned paper that I included in this pack is from the discontinued Berry Blessings stamps, or Berry Blessings Designer Series paper that was available during Celebration, because that was when I originally designed this class and we had to postpone there for a little while. So yeah, you could certainly use any paper you have on hand in a blue, red, or green pattern if you wanted to make additional cards in this design. Or looking at this paper, you could even take some white cardstock and just draw the pattern on there with a marker if you wanted to do that. But yeah, those of you that signed up for the class did get your supply kit with this paper in there. So those are just some ideas if you wanted to make additional cards with this design. So let me move some things out of the way here and give myself some room to work. We're going to start out with the stamping and get all the stamping and the cutting done, and then we'll put everything together. So first thing you want to do is grab your little scrap of basic white cardstock. And you'll notice, let me get this out of the way so that's not distracting there. You'll notice that the strawberries and flowers and caps all have 2 images. You have the outside image, outline image, and then the fill stamp. So we're going to start with that outline image. And our Poppy Parade ink pad. I'll go ahead and ink that up. Oops, sorry if I'm getting my head in the way. And the outline. Clean that off and switch over to that fill image. And this is one of our distinctive stamps. You can see where it's a little darker in some areas and a little lighter in others. And that's just the nature of the distinctive stamps. So we'll fill that color in. There's our strawberry. And we'll switch ink pads here and grab the Garden Green ink pad. again, first we'll stamp with the outline and garden green. And then we'll go back with that fill image and fill in the green. And I found the easiest way to line this up is to make sure the stem is lined up, and then the fill will be lined up pretty well for you there. And now we'll switch over to the Pacific Point ink. And we're going to take our little die cut label, and we're going to take the That Was So Sweet. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. I suppose you could use the Happy Birthday if you wanted to, but it's a little large for that label. The That Was So Sweet of You image fits perfectly in there. I'm going to switch to my larger block here. So ink that up in the Pacific Point blue ink. Stamp that on our label. And then we need our blossom and leaf spray. This is the image I'm referring to when I call that in the instructions. Not sure what else to call that. And now we're going to take our layer of Pacific Point cardstock. I don't know if you can see in the example here, I've stamped that in the upper left corner so that the stem will kind of be hidden under the other pieces when we're done. So ink that up on the Pacific Point. And like I said, stamp that in the upper left corner of that layer. And that's all the stamping we need to do for this particular card. So I'll close up my ink here. Now, if you are fortunate enough to have gotten your hands on the Strawberry Builder Punch, you can punch these images out. Otherwise, we'll take our paper snips and cut them. And I'm going to stop talking through this part so that I can speed up the video for you. But I did want to share that one trick when you're cutting your images out, and it's up to you if you want to leave a little white border around the edge so it looks like it was punched, or you can trim it right up on the line, whichever you prefer. But one trick when cutting with the snips is to pretty much hold the scissors in place and move your cardstock into the scissors as you cut. So, okay, now I'm going to shut up and just cut these out. Okay, now that we have those cut, I'm going to pull out my liquid glue for this part rather than using my Stampin' Seal. So I just put, whoops, I just squeezed that a little too much. I'm going to dab some of that glue off so that it doesn't ooze out and make a mess. And just glue that strawberry cap onto my strawberry there. Okay, now comes the fun part. We get to start putting everything together. Let me refer back to my PDF instructions here to make sure I'm doing everything in the same order, just to keep it a little less confusing. Okay, so now we're going to put some adhesive on the back of our patterned paper here. Up to you whether you want to use the liquid glue or the Stampin' Seal, whichever you have. It's going to work just fine. And then I'm going to adhere this to my card front, like I said, so it's overlapping that stamping a little bit. And I'm also going to leave a thin little border of the blue showing at the bottom. So let me get that on here and line up the edges. And adhere that down. And then the next step is to take the twine that was in your supply packet there. There's 2 pieces. And we're going to just wrap those around right here along the top edge of that patterned paper. And go ahead and tie a bow. And then I'm going to slide that over a little bit towards the right-hand side there. And fiddle around with that, make it look a little more even. Okay, so now our next step is to take our stamped label that says "That was so sweet of you," and take some of those Stampin' Dimensionals from your supply kit and put a few of those on the back. And then we're going to place this so that the points line up with the line of our twine, and put it kind of in the middle there. So again, I'm going to want to adjust this back over because I do want the bow to be right by the edge. So there we go. That looks better. Press that down. And then we're going to also put some dimensionals on the back of our strawberry. Get those backings off of there. There we go. Oh, and now it's stuck to my thumb. Ah! Okay. And then we're going to kind of tuck this under the edge of that label, and again covering up the bottom of the stamped stems there. So there is that part done. Last step is going to be to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back. And attach that to our card base. Get that kind of lined up straight there. And then it's up to you if you want to add a little stamped strawberry or one of those sprays. If you want to add some stamping to the inside of your card, you can certainly do that. And you also have an envelope in your supply kit. And you know what I always say, no naked envelopes. So go ahead and add a little stamping on your envelope flap or down on the bottom corner of your envelope. So there's the first card done. And we will move on to the next one in a couple minutes.